because I have to.
Oops, sorry. You have her name?
I don't know.
I have a buffer, so
I know, I thought the tickets are too much for me. Number of guests, okay.
Das würde ich dann LSE, da kann man das for
Yeah, I'm inside the theater right now.
That's fine. That's what I was going to say.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Bye.
What's your constituent? All the way down.
Hi there, get your tickets please.
Yeah? All the way downstairs. All the way downstairs.
Thank you.
Check your tickets.
All the way downstairs.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the LSE for your graduation ceremony. The ceremony will begin in a few moments' time with a short introductory film. This will be followed by a procession by the academic faculty for which you will be invited to stand. Students and guests must now take their seats in the seat numbers marked on their tickets. It is vitally important you do stay in your allocated seats for two reasons. One, for your safety and comfort. Two, even more importantly, to get the students onto the stage to be presented. That's why we're all here. Do not stand unless invited to as part of the ceremony, and please keep the walkways free. If you have any bags, just shimmy them in, just make sure a nice clean thoroughfare. If you have any mobile phones or any other devices that might go off in the ceremony, please switch those off or to silent or to flight mode. Are you following me? Out of 10, how exciting is it? I shall continue with more safety facts then. Okay, there's only one more. There's more guidance really. So when you came into the theatre, you came in one way. With this theatre, you go out a different way. So if you're down here in the stalls, please head out these exits here, to your right, to your left. If you're upstairs, it's behind you, left and right. However, if you have any items in the cloakroom, please collect those first. Cloakroom is the bottom of the main staircase in the stalls bar. Get flowers, coats, bags, etc. Then head out to the theatre. Right, that really is all the really tedious stuff out of the way. Now to the glamorous stuff. Without any further ado, please await the short film that will mark the start of the ceremony and will be followed by the announcement of the procession of the academic faculty. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the academic procession.
As LSE's academic registrar, I declare this ceremony open. Please take your seats. The academic procession is drawn from esteemed colleagues from across the LSE community. Joining me on stage today is Baroness Manoush Shafiq, Professor Emma McCoy, Professor Alka Shaw, Professor Jeffrey Shawereth, Professor Chris Oldham, Dr. Kostas Kalyuropoulos, Mr. Mitesh Sheth, Dr. Yazin Dugan, Professor John Siddle, Mr. John Sandman, Professor Michael Scott, Dr. Teresa Squadrito, Dr. Frederica Vici, Professor Zoltan Zabo, Dr. Francesca Pinero. I now call on the director, Baroness Shafiq, to give the welcoming address.
Graduates, parents, grandparents, spouses, children, siblings, cousins, friends, and loved ones of all kinds. Welcome to the London School of Economics and Political Science to celebrate the graduating class of 2022. I can't tell you how happy I am to see you all here in person, particularly because many of you had to overcome snow, flight cancellations, train strikes, and other challenges to get here. So it's good to know that nothing will defeat you in this celebration. Graduations are one of life's examples of truly unadulterated joy. Unlike weddings, where there's often tensions beneath the happy surface, I've all been to those, or birthdays which carry the weight of aging, graduations are a celebration of pure accomplishment, a rite of passage, and a moment of pride, everyone involved. So my warmest and most genuine congratulations to all of you. Of course, I can't help but notice that we're together in a way that wasn't always possible during recent times. Indeed, although the pandemic will always be part of your LSE story, it need not be confined to the dark and scary chapters. Even under the best of circumstances, university times are not just a time for building resilience, but also for adaptation and growth, beyond limits of what you thought yourself capable. And the adversity of the past few years only magnifies your accomplishment. And while there's still concerns about the pandemic and war and political unrest and economic turmoil, all those things have cost us greatly, but they've also reminded us of what's really important in life. And as LSE research on well-being has shown so clearly, the three things that make you happiest are good relationships, good health, and meaningful work. And the pandemic, of course, has made us appreciate good health even more, and the many problems in the world give you many opportunities for meaningful work. But today is a day to celebrate the relationships that have got you this far, that have brought you to this place, whether they be with parents, with family, with friends, with teachers or mentors. Now, with over 200,000 alumni scattered across 200 countries, there's nothing I can say that applies to all LSE graduates. But I can think of one thing they all share. They all come from a very special place. It is special because of the wide range of people who come here and the ideas that those encounters with difference create. This is one of the truly great universities of the world, with a virtually universal reputation for outstanding research and producing outstanding citizens. At least 34 of our alumni have gone on to become prime ministers, presidents, and premiers, including those in the European Union, 2 in Canada, Colombia, Dominica, Fiji, 3 in Ghana, 2 in Kenya, India, Israel, Italy, 2 in Jamaica, Japan, 2 in Mauritius, Nepal, Panama, 2 in Peru, Poland, Taiwan, Thailand, Togo, and even a faculty member who became Prime Minister of the UK. That's Clement Attlee, in case you were wondering. 18 have gone on to win Nobel Prizes in economics, peace, and literature. Our alumni wrote the Indian Constitution. They founded over 25 unicorns, creating over $85 billion in value in the last few years alone. And they created the greatest rock and roll band of all time. And Mick Jagger didn't even graduate. Believe it or not, he was studying accounting. And his accounting professor at the time told him he was making a terrible career decision. But whether in or out of the limelight, LSE alumni have led successful careers in business, government, academia, civil society, and all walks of life, contributing to the betterment of society every single day. So treasure the education that you've earned here, because through my own experience, I've come to agree with Nelson Mandela's observation that education is the most powerful weapon to change the world. My own father lost everything in the revolution in Egypt in the 1960s, a traumatic experience that changed him forever. He had to start again in a new country with no money and a young family to support. But he had the one thing that enabled him to rebuild his life, a good education. And so when I was growing up, I was always told, they can take everything away from you except your education. So whether you go on to earn a great deal or earn very little. Remember, your education is the most valuable asset that you have, and one that needs constant renewal and replenishment. And so while studying more may be the last thing on your mind at the moment, remember the LSE is always here for you to learn throughout your life. Now, at a time of great polarization and division and conflict in the world, I wanted to say a little bit more about what makes the LSE so special. Quite simply, here at LSE, we are challenged every day by encountering difference in the people we meet and the ideas that we debate. LSE students come from every possible background, and you will hear today as we read out the names, from all sorts of parts of the world, and they hold every conceivable set of values and views. One of my colleagues called the school a place from everywhere, and therefore a place for everyone. In 1912, the first president of the LSE Student Union was an Indian immigrant. In the 1930s, the LSE trained and went on to recruit the professor and economist Sir Arthur Lewis, who became the first black professor in the United Kingdom and went on to win one of those Nobel Prizes that I mentioned. When the LSE was evacuated to all-male Peterhouse in Cambridge during World War II, 2/3 of our student body were women. And after the war, the LSE became a home for people like Karl Popper and Klaus Moser and Otto Kahn Freud and many other refugee intellectuals fleeing persecution and illiberalism. For most of you, as it was for me when I did my MSc at the LSE in 1986, the LSE was the most international place I had ever been, and I learned a great deal from my fellow students. My Argentine classmate introduced me to newspapers that only wrote about football. The Italians taught me how to cook a proper pasta. You mustn't crowd it in the boiling water. I formed a study group with my British friends, with whom we shared the heavy workload of annotating and summarizing the main points in academic papers, a skill that paid off when most of them, including me, went on to become the most senior civil servants in the land. University education is not about just a transfer of knowledge. It's about living and learning alongside people who are very different from you. And that experience builds the foundation for a world of greater mutual understanding. You will never see the world in the same way, having had that experience and those encounters with difference. And the skills and the values that you have learned, the intellectual rigor, the ability to see many sides of an argument, and the confidence to defend your own views, they are the infrastructure of a world that honors difference and yet is able to forge progress together. We may not agree or even respect each other's beliefs or views, but we respect one another's right to hold them and speak them, and we assume good faith. And we remember that learning the causes of things is impossible if you think you know them all already. Because at LSE, perhaps more than most universities, it is a place that specializes in these patient encounters with difference. And we know what befalls communities and nations give up on those values. I studied for my first degree and my doctorate at very fine institutions and spent most of my life working in international organizations. But it was at the LSE that I first saw the world in all its differentiated glory, and I've never seen it the same way since. And that is my hope for you. Finally, I wanted to ask something of you. You've been privileged to have one of the finest educations in the world, and with that comes a special responsibility. I mentioned earlier that there are a few problems in the world that need sorting out. Climate change, economic crises, a war, and many, many more. When I despair at the state of the world, I talk to an LSE student and I immediately feel more hopeful. You've been given all the skills needed to answer these challenges, and that I ask of you to never hold back in putting forward solutions in your lives as professionals, as citizens, as future parents, as friends, as neighbors. Today, As we mark your transition from student to alumni, let's celebrate the very unique community from which you come, the people who've shaped who you are today, as well as the person you will become, and the many lives that you will influence. Once again, I wish you, the class of 2022, all happiness and success in your life ahead as you embark from this very special place to shape the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. In accordance with the traditions of the school, the graduands will now be presented to the director. This ceremony marks the success of each and every graduate in becoming a graduate of the school. In addition, we will acknowledge the outstanding academic achievement of those individuals who have been awarded departmental prizes. Each department is represented by a senior member of the school's academic staff. They will declare the names of those graduates present here today from their department. I now invite you to join my assembled colleagues in congratulating the graduates as they cross the stage and in celebrating their success in graduating in 2022. I now call on Professor Elpa Shaw of the Department of Anthropology.
Director, I present to you students from my department who have followed courses of study in the school. Masters of Science in Anthropology and Development, Farah Jamal Aldaba. Winner of the 2022 Lucy Mayer Prize for the Best Anthropology and Development Dissertation, Laura Isabel Celis Uribe. Yin-Yung Ingrid Trum. Connor Raymond Jennings. Rebecca Rood. Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled The Dug-Up Heart, Becoming a Nun in the Company of Others, Dr. Megan Rose Donnelly. Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Scales of Difference, an ethnography of the family, dynamics of livelihood transition, affirmative action, cultural objectification, and state recognition in Andhra Pradesh, India. Dr. Tom
I call on Professor Jeffrey Shuwerth of the Department of International Relations.
Director, I present to you students from my department who have followed courses of study in the school. Master of Science in International Political Economy, Obiad Mawan Tani Almaru. Leah Nicole Ansel. Philip Becker. Holden Arthur Samuel Brill. Emma Dorfer. Sarah Eckersey. Maximilian Fassel. Alice Betty Ricken. Floris Rosanna. Pratisha Singh. Christy Slatton. Josephine Jacqueline Lisa Smaja Vidier. Mihal Sed. Franz Florian Slatton. Petra Dominika Svedpezi. Celeste Towers. Vivian Amelia Ter Colby. Elise Varro. Patrick Wapo Villa. Jin Lee Wang. Janavi Yala Bharti. Anul Yi. Master of Science in International Political Economy, LSE and CS double degree, Alexis Bowen. Olivia Caitlin Devesi. Daniel Bovino. Amelie Halvik Jonsson. Nahal Kazmen. Helene Younge Elizabeth Lee. Munir Zamanili. Master of Science in International Political Economy and Research, Joshua Hopkins Alexander. Andreas Palmar Kaparos. Agustin Nicholas Gonzalez Apote Andujar. Yun P. Wang. Zhuan Zhang. Master of Science, International Relations, Faben Sadis Tadele Abida. Judy Al-Salam. Prasanna Adita Anand Kumar. Lucas Andraseco. Thomas Marys Ashworth. Cameron Neil Atkinson. Daniela Balabin. Michelle Benzing. Madeline Ann Barry. Priya Bhattacharya. Daria Volkovalko. Auburn Stella Brown. Rom Raffaele Cabrera. Enyi Chen. Jing Ben Chen. Priyanka Chowdhury. Wayne Lam Chu. John Andrew Crawford. Alexander Jake Davies. Thomas James D. Celeste Sophie He Chong Delort. William John Downs. Sasha Duquesne. Hager Hidia. Sean Nicholas Flanagan. Benjamin Flovenbaum. Nathan Michael Glover. Shnika Guna Sakara. Phaedra Haringsma. Akshay Hashak Honmani. Anhard Mary Alice Collette. Jujun Hyun Kim. Nibhat Rao Kondapalli. Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Essays on the European Central Bank's Communication, Armando Morosi. Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Why Overcomply with International Law, Exceeding International Minimum Standards in Social, Labor, and Environmental Policy, Dr. Meredith McKinsey Wright.
I call on Professor Chris Oldham of LSE Ideas.
Director, I present to you students from my department who have followed courses of study in the field. It's the Master of Science in International Strategy and Diplomacy, David August Merkel. Hamad M. L. Khalifa. Angus William Richard Backens. Arula Bajan. Nurdiana Binti Badarudin. June Chan. Samuel Narty George. Khaled Hamadi. Inej Zawani.
I call on Dr. Kostas Kalogeropoulos of the Department of Statistics.
Director, I present to you students from my department who have followed courses of study in the school. Master of Science in Data Science, Jessica David Bissessu. Isita Bueno. Anushka Gupta. Doctor of Philosophy for thesis entitled Development and Application of Statistical Learning Methods in Insurance and Finance, Dr. Despina Macaria.
LSE alumnus Mitesh Sheth, who is Chief Investment Officer at Newton's multi-asset business. Mitesh is also a member of the Diversity Project's Advisory Board, an active member of the CEO Sponsor Group for the Gender Workstream, an LGBT Great 50 for 50 ally, and an executive sponsor of the Race and Ethnicity Workstream.
Congratulations to you all. You've made it. You may have taken a multitude of journeys to get here, made many sacrifices, but no one will see your struggles or your starting points as you leave here as graduates of the LSE. That's all that will show on your LinkedIn profiles. And that will open doors, start conversations, and give you unimaginable opportunities. It is a real privilege to be here again after 24 years. I studied actuarial science here at the LSE and graduated in 1999. But this is my first graduation ceremony wearing these robes, as I didn't make it to my own. But more on that later. I had a lot of fun at LSE. I made some lifelong friends, and I learned a bit too. I'm grateful for having people with me throughout my life, giving me honest and brutal feedback, sponsoring me and cheering me on to be better, to fulfill the potential within me, starting with my wife, my managers, my mentors and friends. Now, many of the poor and underprivileged people that I've worked with and spent time with and become friends with over the course of the last couple of decades have looked at me, and they may look at you, as people with fancy degrees, with some suspicion. I've learned from them that they assume that we will exploit them for our own benefit, or at least that's what they've got used to. You have the opportunity to change that. Actually, I think it's more than an opportunity. I think it's a responsibility to change that perception in an increasingly divided, inequitable, and unstable world. Finally, if you take nothing else away from what I've shared today, here are my 3 pieces of advice that I hope will stay with you. Number 1, forge your own path. Don't compare or compete with others. Number 2, surround yourselves with good people, people who will make you a better person. Number 3, don't be in a rush. Enjoy the journey, especially the adversity. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the ride.
Thank you, Mr. Sheth. I now call on all the graduates to rise for the official conferment of degrees.
So this is the moment that we've all been waiting for. This is the moment when your degrees are actually conferred. And I wanted to start by saying what an incredible privilege it has been for all of us to spend this time with you and your friends and family and supporters, and to celebrate the huge amount of hard work and determination it has taken to get to this moment. So your departments have presented you, and this is the moment when your degrees are formally conferred. So, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Academic Board of the London School of Economics and Political Science, I now admit you for the awards for which you have been recommended. And on behalf of everyone on the LSE Council, faculty, staff, and alumni community, I wanted to say how proud we are of each and every one of you. Congratulations, LSE graduates. may be seated. So I hope you intend to celebrate a lot. There are lots of festivities on campus, and I hope you partake in the receptions that are being held today. But it's a huge achievement, so please linger over it. I think days, weeks, perhaps months of celebration are in order. So please do appreciate what you've done. So thank you all again. Let me reiterate my congratulations to everyone here. And thank you all for coming. I'll ask you to stay in your seats until the platform party descends. Thank you.
I now declare this ceremony closed.
LSE graduates, friends and family, please now make your way out of the theatre. If you're down here in the stalls, please make your way out of these exits here, this door there, this door there. Upstairs, the doors behind you. Don't forget, if you have any items in the cloakroom, please go to the cloakroom first and then head out of the theatre. If you need any assistance, please stay in your seat and one of our stewards will come to assist you. Thank you.